At LV, our home insurance comes from the heart. It's not just about giving you a personal claims handler to take care of you all the way. It's about looking after you in other ways too. Like when you go direct to us, buy online and get a massive 25% discount. To see how much you could save with the Which Insurance Provider of the Year 2017, go direct to lv.com. Online discount for new customers only, excludes home emergency and home legal expenses.
Gamertag Radio presents E3 2017 coverage. Hosts Danny Pena, Paris Lilly, and Peter Toledo are direct from the convention center floor.
Here we go.
All right, everyone. It's Peter here with Gamertag Radio, here checking out Rebellion and Rogue Trooper Redux. Or is it Redo? Redux. Okay. All right. So I have Richard May, programmer. For those that aren't familiar with the history and the lore of the entire story, tell us about Rogue Trooper.
So Rogue Trooper is a character from the British comic 2000 AD. It's one of the major characters from the comic, including people like Judge Dredd, who you might have heard of. But Rogue Trooper's always been the kind of the second tier, but still a major character for fans of the comic. So the history of the game is a little more complicated. Back in about 2000, when the Rebellion Company acquired the rights to 2000 AD, we always knew we wanted to do something with Rogue Trooper, but it took us a few years to get to that stage. So we worked on Rogue Trooper from about 2004 to 2006 when it was released. And it was always one of our favourite titles. It was something we look back on with great fondness. The guys that worked on it, we had a really good time. I think we really did the original source material justice. And the fans of the comic, I think, often agree with us. So when the opportunity came in the last couple of years to do something with the game again, to bring it to a new audience, to update it for modern consoles, it was great. It's a brilliant thing to see. It's brought back loads of good memories of happy times from working late nights, but still good times. So yeah, it's great to see it being shown to a new audience.
So aside from the nostalgia factor, why now? Why bring it back?
Well, we can. We're now an independent company. When we were working on Rogue Trooper originally, it was being written for a publisher. But now we are fully independent. We're self-funded, so we can do more or less what we want to. And I think because of that fondness, the opportunity presented itself to work with TikTok, who've been working on the Redux version, and to update it for that new audience, which perhaps maybe didn't see the game the first time around because maybe they were too young, or maybe they just never heard of a blue guy called Rogue Trooper. And we're hoping that they'll want to play it now.
So are we looking at like a one-to-one replicate of the original? What have you guys done to enhance it and bring it to the future?
Okay, so the game as it stands is almost it's the same game there. You've got the same campaign, it's the same mechanics, but we've done a few things just to sort of bring it up to date. So obviously the graphical changes, there's a massive update to the original graphics. From the PS2 and the original Xbox, we can make a lot of sweeping changes. So we brought in new techniques like parallax mapping, which are common now but didn't exist back in the day. So we've got fully dynamic shadows, lighting, and all that sort of thing to really make it if not up there with the very best, look contemporary with the games that are out there now. And I think it's never looked better. My rose-tinted nostalgia tells me that the original was a good-looking game, but if you put these two side by side, there's no comparison. We've also taken a moment to sort of address things like the controls. So Rogue Trooper was one of the first cover shooters out there. It's not the first, but it was a new thing back then. And since then, people are more used to that kind of game, so certain standards have developed, which we're different from. So we've kind of brought the controls into line with what people would expect from a modern Coven shooter, and I think that's going to help it be a little bit more accessible to the average game player, and that's great.
All right, so are we looking at solely console release? Is there going to be a PC component or availability?
So we've got full compatibility with PC, Xbox One, PS4, and Switch.
Switch, interesting. So I'm assuming this is just a single-player campaign. There's no multiplayer to it at all?
We've got the original single-player, but also the original had what was quite rare at the time, a co-op multiplayer. This was a different... It wasn't the single-player campaign just with extra players. It was a co-op mode where you had bespoke levels. There's 5 bespoke levels in the game, 2 what we would call horde modes, and 3 progressive modes where you play through a level with your colleagues. And I have a lot of fond memories of playing the Horde mode back in the day when we were developing it, but certainly if you have the original game now, you can't play it on PC because the infrastructure it relies on doesn't exist anymore. So the opportunity to bring that to the modern network infrastructures like Steam, PSN, has been great to play it again, to see it being played. I'm really looking forward to seeing what people make of the co-op modes, because they're one of my favorite parts of the game.
Yeah, co-op is traditionally, with a lot of people, I think it's safe to say that that's the most fun that you can have when you have a title. You know, so being able to sit there with your friend on the couch and just get silly stupid on the TV, it's something that I look forward to, with whether it be my son or my daughter, my wife, etc. So I'm glad that, you know, Rogue Trooper Redux is able to bring that fun back in.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, you know, we've made a little bit of a niche with co-op games at Rebellion of late. We all enjoy them. I think there's not enough out there. They're a great way to have fun without getting angry with your best friend.
I don't know. Sometimes they're having many an argument as a result of these games. So
yeah, best not talk about our work Overwatch sessions. I think that's best left.
I can definitely. It's funny you bring up Overwatch. My daughter sent me a video gameplay, a highlight of what she did. You get like a 9-kill streak this morning, so it's crazy. So back to Redux. When is it available, and when can people start playing it?
Well, we don't have a final date yet. We're going with this year. So look out for it when we're ready.
Awesome. And so you said Xbox One, PlayStation, PC, and maybe the Switch.
We're definitely doing it on Switch. We're just not quite sure when it'll come out. We're hoping for a simultaneous release across all platforms.
All right. And for people looking for more information, where do they go?
They can go to roguetrooper.com, I believe.
That's correct.
Perfect. Thank you guys very much. This episode of Gamertag Radio is brought to you by Western Digital. For a limited time, Gamertag Radio listeners can get 20% off WD SSDs with the coupon code WDGTR. Find out more at WD.com/GTR. With Western Digital, you're now able to get solid-state drives and hard drives to fit your unique needs. When you get the superior performance of a WD solid-state drive to your PC, you get blazing read speeds so you can boot your system quickly or load games and other applications in a snap. Combined with a reliable Western Digital hard drive, you get up to 6 terabytes of storage to keep your games library, direct feed video, podcasts, and more, all in a single place.
Yeah, they sent you a couple samples, right, of this. So how's it been your experience so far?
They sent me a Western Digital Blue, I want to say it was a 500 gig solid state drive, and a 4 terabyte hybrid solid state drive, or a hybrid solid state disk drive. So in my experience, I've always done a combination, because you take advantage of the performance of a solid state drive within your computer, and then you take advantage of the additional capacity that the solid state hybrid drives can give you, along with with a larger cache package inside of the solid state hybrid drive. So it's something I've always taken advantage of, and I highly recommend that our listeners do so as well.
Take advantage. You know, mention the site.
Absolutely. WD.com or WDC.com/GTR, and just use the promo code WDGTR to get your 20% off.